Good afternoon. We are here on this Friday afternoon. Week 2 is upon us. Both the Giants or Jets are 0-1, looking for the first win. However, the way both those teams are 0-1 feel completely different. Henry, how are we doing?
Doing good. Great Friday to talk some ball. Yankees get back in the win column yesterday. Obviously, our big focus for these Friday episodes are previewing the Jets and Giants. Those, even though the result was the same, like you said, those losses could not have been any different for either of the two teams. But yeah, so ready to talk some ball. I will say, if you are on our Instagram right now, it looks like only I'm on our Instagram, just looking at the comments and looking at the viewers right now. But people on our Instagram, go over to the YouTube. It's a much better viewing experience. We can see your comments right away. We can put them up on the screen. So, yeah.
Yes, let's get into it. Week 2 is upon us, and we will start off with the Giants at Cowboys. Of course, the Giants are 0-1 after getting embarrassed by the Washington Commanders last week. And actually, since the Commanders played yesterday, the little hope I have left in the Giants, I do want to mention this, is maybe Washington's just really, really good. So I was kind of hoping they would come out Thursday. Their defense would look great. They'd play a good game. And, maybe this is more of a positive for the Packers than negative for Washington. But Washington looking really bad against the Packers makes me feel even worse about the Giants. So
yeah, I agree. I don't know.
So typically, most of the time when your team loses, the worst feelings you have are Sunday night, Monday morning. Then I feel like midweek, you start talking yourself back into a week 2 win. That has not happened for me at all. The more I think about the Giants, the more annoyed I get. The more news comes out, the more down I feel about this team. So the vibes cannot be any lower for me right now. I'm going to be honest how I feel with the Giants compared to last week where I had some excitement. It kind of sucks. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, no, I see that just because, yeah, obviously the Commanders, I was looking for the same thing to see how they squared off against the Packers to see if I could have looked back at the Giants game and came away with any positives. But no, it seemed like the Packers, although the Commanders made it close at a certain point
Yeah.
there in that game.
Packers kicking their ass, though.
The second half, yeah, the Packers controlled that game from the start. Yeah, really, it was their game. They were not going to lose that game. So,
and that's kind of a different debate. I think the Packers could be a real legit force in the NFC. Maybe the runner-up with the Eagles, the best odds of a team beating the Eagles might be the Packers. But back to this game. So we're going to break this game down, try to find some ways the Giants could possibly get a win. First off, I made a video about this. I want to mention it again. Dak Prescott completely owns the New York Football Giants. Dak Prescott started off his career, first ever game actually, lost against the Giants. This was the year the Cowboys went 13-3. 2 of their 3 losses were against the New York Football Giants. Since Henry and I were in middle school, I was in 7th grade, he was in 8th grade. The Giants have not beaten Dak Prescott since then. That is 9 years ago. It was 2016. It is embarrassing how a divisional quarterback can own a team so bad because keep in mind, guys, for casual fans, the Giants play the Cowboys twice a year, and Prescott has missed one of those games, which ironically the Giants won in 2020. But point taking, they play a lot, and the Cowboys kick the Giants' ass a lot.
yeah, I mean, last time, 2016, that's almost 10 years ago. That's 9 years ago right now. The amount of stuff that's happened since 2016 is insane. Just like
I feel like it's not talked about a lot because the Giants did get 1 win against them, but Andy Dalton started. So
yeah,
saying the Giants haven't been the Cowboys in 5 years, that doesn't sound that bad. Like
but that doesn't count.
But it doesn't. It really shouldn't because the games Dak Prescott has played since 2017, he's just owned them. So that is already not a good sign for the Giants. You're kind of, I'm going to call it a must-win game because if you look at their schedule, if there's any hope, which I don't think many people have them contending, but in this schedule, the games you got to win, you kind of got to win a game against a weaker Dallas Cowboys team, although I think they impressed both of us in their week 1 game. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so most important part of the Giants to me, Andrew Thomas is doubtful. Again, just more bad news coming out. So he probably won't be playing. Probably James Hudson, again, who was awful last week. Luckily for the Giants, the Cowboys, though, their pass rush isn't good. So if this offensive line looks terrible against this pass rush, then oh my God, I just it's gonna be even more berserk Monday morning. Like they have to protect against this Cowboys pass rush. It's not good.
So this Cowboys pass rush being bad and all, if this Giants offensive line can't protect Russell Wilson, why would you want Jackson Dart to play behind it?
Yeah, if this is like, let's say they look really bad, and I understand that mindset. First off, Andrew Thomas should eventually come back, but honestly, at this point, I think we all have to see it to believe it. So I'm gonna pretend in my mind that he is not healthy because I need to see it at this point. I guess he's not on the IR, which is good news, but Andrew Thomas hasn't played since last October, so I need to see it. But once he's back, their offense will still be bad, I'm sure, but it won't be unplayable bad. But I think the main thing with Jackson Dart stands compared to Russell Wilson is the Giants don't owe anything to Russell Wilson. When you remember back in 2019, which they chose Daniel Jones over Eli Manning after just 2 games, they of course owed something to Eli Manning. He was their franchise quarterback, one of the greatest players in the franchise. They don't owe Russell Wilson anything. And I think the mindset is, look, we're going to lose regardless. Might as well try to develop our quarterback. And I think some people have 2 different opinions. And sometimes people think of Zach Wilson and Sam Darnold. If these quarterbacks have bad experiences in the beginning, they can never develop. That's not always the case. It takes quarterbacks to grow. You kind of got to go through the growing pains. Josh Allen, if I was one believer, I'm like, wow, Josh Allen's so reckless. He's turning the ball over all the time. Took him time to develop. So I think the main mindset with Jackson Dart playing at this point is, look, maybe he's a little better than Russell Wilson, but I get it. I'd rather lose with Dart than Wilson because Russell Wilson's not going to be here next year, no matter what. So I think that's the main thing, if I had to guess.
Yeah, but you made a great point about bringing up Sam Darnold and Russell Wilson, and not Russell Wilson, Zach Wilson. And I was going to bring up that point because I obviously you see quarterbacks like Josh Allen who aren't thrusted into the best situation, but they grow and develop, and as they develop, the team builds a better team around them. But yeah, then you do see cases of Zach Wilson and Sam Darnold, especially in the market of New York, and this is something that I've lived through seeing. So that's where I have formed my opinion off of. You see guys like that who are just behind bad O-lines, who aren't really given weapons. Obviously, Zach Wilson was given Garrett Wilson, but Sam Darnold didn't have anyone. And you see them just implode in like before our very eyes. And Dart's going to have neighbors, but behind that O-line, if you don't give a quarterback time to throw, like
I think Dart is going to be able to. I think just the way Jackson Dart and Russell Wilson are as players, I think Dart could have better playmaking ability with a bad offensive line. He's more athletic, more mobile. And Russell Wilson is just really bad using the middle of the field. I kind of looked over a lot of tape, listened to people that know more about the X's and O's than me, his former quarterbacks. And the tape of none of them are saying anything positive about Russell Wilson. Of course, they're mentioning the bad offensive line play, but majority of the media is claiming for Dart to start. And I saw someone mention this. I can't remember who, but I've been listening to a lot of sports shows this week. This is like a nightmare Giant scenario, but I think this is a good point. The reason I think Dart, you kind of want to see if he's able to guy or not, because there is a nightmare scenario where I don't know exactly if it's a nightmare scenario because I don't like talking about this stuff week 2, but there's a scenario where Dable, Schoen are gone, Giants are 2-15. There's not much like Josh Rosen, Kyler Murray situation, new coach, new GM, first overall pick. They want their quarterback. That's possible. That is possible because Dart didn't look impressive in the 10 games he played in. New guys come in, they want their guy. That's a possible scenario, and I think you want to know if Dart's not the guy, then the uncertainty going into a new regime possibly. I think that's another thing to think about. I don't know if that makes sense to you.
Yeah. No, it does.
And then, yeah, keep going. What were you saying?
Sorry. Yeah, and I mean, because if the team around him is horrible, but he comes in and shows flashes of being a good or great quarterback, then you
That saves them
do
their job probably
it
at this
does save
point.
them their
Yeah.
job and gives them another year and another year of okay, now the sense of urgency is on. Now we have to beef up the O line. We have to outside neighbors get better weapons, beef up that
Mhm.
defense, beef up the secondary. You almost put yourself in another where the Giants were this whole summer, where it's like, okay, let's relax. Dable
Yeah.
and Shane are gonna be safe for this upcoming year. They're gonna get their opportunity. You almost give them another
Mhm.
go.
Yeah. This is stuff that like is gonna be the mainstream conversation. This is like even some off-season talk, so I'm gonna kind of try to focus on the present a little bit. But with the
Mhm.
Russell Wilson thing, I think I was gonna mention this later that if he plays bad, or there's even a scenario with an impulsive coach like Brian Dable, if they're down 20-6 at halftime, 17-3, 14-0, you might see Jackson Dart come out in the second half. I think that's a legit possibility. This is to me is Russell Wilson's last chance. He has to prove it, or else this could maybe be his last game as a starting quarterback. Russ has got a lot to prove. He wants to be a starting quarterback next year and beyond still at this point of his career. And he probably knows he won't be at the Giants, but he's looking to have a good year to get an opportunity somewhere else. And this is it. I think he knows it. Sean Payton gave up on him, Mike Tomlin. This is it. He's got to play better. And I just think the most likely scenario at this point is Giants lose. Spoiler alert, I guess, for my prediction. Giants lose. Russell Wilson's bench. We're talking next week about Jackson Dart starting. I think that's the most likely scenario at this point.
I think as of right now, I think Russell Wilson and less Russell Wilson, but more Dable hears the noise. He knows
He
shit. I
knows.
got to light a fire under these guys' asses, or my job is in serious jeopardy. And uh, honestly, I don't know what Russell Wilson's thinking because you can never really get a read on him in the media because he has the
Yeah.
most clear answers like you'll ever have, the most buttoned up answers that seems like a PR person's giving him everything to say.
Yeah.
But I think Dable really feels a sense of urgency, and he is going to motivate these guys to come out. And I don't necessarily know if they'll win. I don't think they'll win, but I think we'll get a better product of
And
football
that
from
that
this
probably saves Russell Wilson the starting job from a week to week
team.
standpoint. If the Giants look competitive, they're putting points on the board. At this point, I think all Giants fans got to be happy with that. If they have a loss like the Jets did, or not, I'm not even asking for that. Just like a competitive loss, the offense moved the ball. You saw Malik Neighbors have a big game. You saw other guys and get involved. I'm okay with that, but I got to see it to believe it. They just my keys here. They just got to move the ball, man. I mean, everything they did was bad. They got to try to get the run game going. I'm kind of wondering maybe if the run game's bad again, you might see more Cam Scatterboo because at least he can run people over and get a few extra
Yeah.
yards that Tyron Tracy Jr., I think, can't do with the bad offensive line. I think maybe Scatterboo can do more with. Other just offensive stuff I want to see better of. Darius Slayton, man, it was kind of surprised the Giants re-signed him last year. $12 million per year, 3-year deal, 1 target, no catches. And I know everyone saw them League Neighbors pissed off getting more involved, but Darius Slayton's a receiver too in the team. I need more from that too. Just
Mhm.
everything. I mean, like it sounds like a blatant answer, but everything needs to be better.
The
Seriously.
Slayton thing though is obviously he's more of a deep ball type threat, and I feel like if you can't get anything else going on your offense, you're not uncorking deep balls, you
Yeah.
know. So that is a bit of an excuse for him, but I do get your point where nothing is going.
Nothing is
There's
going good.
nothing.
I'm talking about running offensive line, quarterback, receivers, tight ends. Theo Johnson sucks. I mean, I wonder if Daniel Bellinger gets more playing time this week. I mean, I Theo Johnson, man, that guy's a mess. I watched a breakdown and he, tight ends don't get as much hate for this stuff, but he was horrible pass blocking. he was not helping the offensive line much. So I really wonder if you see Daniel Bellinger more this week and a veteran that at least can help these guys pass block for something. But
the funny thing is, tight ends don't get that much hate for it when they're very good.
important.
But also, very good tight ends get a lot of love for it. Like you see George Kittle getting a lot of love for it in post game when they're playing highlights of games and things like that. So they don't get a lot of the discredit for it, but they get a lot of the credit for it when it's looking good.
Also, to be fair, like unless you're a diehard Giants fan, you're not looking at Theo Johnson like, "Oh, you suck." Like that's the reason why we're losing. Like this is just stuff that the Giants fans are gonna notice that like everything's bad. It's like you can name 10 players that aren't playing besides Malik Neighbors. Literally, there was not one thing that impressed me. Our center, John Michael Schmaltz, horrible. He was a second round pick, shown nothing in 2 years, third year now. So I don't know. The offense got to be better, like not to be bland, but there's no reason for them not to move the ball against Dallas. This is not a great defense. They don't have with Darren Bland hurt. Malik Neighbors gonna get open all the time. Neighbors killed Dallas last year, I remember, and they should be able to pass block and they should be able to put some points on the board. Yeah, just that simple. They should be able to score the ball, but will they? We'll see.
I feel like we thought they should be able to put some points on the board last week.
I thought this offense would be able to move the ball. Just in general, I didn't expect to resume from 2023 and 2024. And that's exactly what it was.
I saw Justin Pennick from John Boy Media said that if he went into a coma after the last game last year and woke up the other day and watched that game, he would have been like, okay, yeah. Which is so funny because we talk ourselves into hope and that, oh, this is going to be different this year. And obviously, you're much more of a, like, I'm a Jets fan, so I don't live and die by how well the Giants are doing, but I bought myself in beginning of this year.
You were higher on them than I was. Yes.
Yeah. So it is crazy. The thing about football week 2 from week 1 is week 1, I don't want to say you're guessing.
Week. It's kind of
it is an overreaction week. But all the tape you have of those guys going into week 1 is from last year. They had a whole offseason to improve, fix holes in their game and stuff and whatever. So I feel like week 2 was much more of like a baseline. Like you take week 1 or week 1 is a baseline, and then after week 1, these teams have up-to-date film and tape of these guys that they can watch, and they're not just watching old film and guessing almost.
Yes. I mean, the Giants, this is my first major key to this game. The Giants got to win the fandom back. They gotta show the fans that this team isn't just gonna be like the last 2 years, and they're gonna compete, win some games. Like they need to show up to AT&T Stadium and put on a show. The only person that's thinking this is a fan. I'm looking at this as an analyst view. I don't think it's going to happen, but prove me wrong. That's every Giants mindset should be that. Every Giants fan mindset should be that. Prove me wrong. Make me impressed. Like I don't want to have to turn on Sunday Night Football, the 4:30 games. I don't want the things to look forward to on Sunday, the food, the other games. I want the Giants to be my best part about Sunday. Like it's not going to happen, but
there's nothing better. And I mean, obviously your team's won Super Bowls in your lifetime, but we've barely had hope as football fans. And just looking back on the Jets season with Zach Wilson when they went 7-10, I believe, the year before Rodgers got there.
Yeah,
it was
Giants
cool.
Great year. That was a fun year.
Yeah. It was fun to watch those games and have hope for your team. And now there's nothing better than that. Nothing better than that. Because you only have so many football weekends in a year, and to be able on a Sunday to flip on your team and have hope, there's nothing better than that.
I mean, and it's week 2.
I
would say 30 out of the 32 teams have somewhat of a hope right now, besides the Colts and Giants. And it's not the Colts, the Dolphins and Giants. Right now, but I'll talk some more things about this game. Defensively, Micah McFadden, starting caliber linebacker, probably out for the year. So now you're relying on a 6th round pick from 2024. Darius Messiah did not look good last week. Shane Bowen possibly said Abdul Carter could get some weak side linebacker play, which I'm fine with because I kind of wanted him in the field more. This just doesn't make sense. The core, I'm not gonna say core four because they do not deserve the nickname, but the Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, Abdul Carter lineup was talked about all offseason, played 9 snaps together. I just don't understand. You don't have your best players in the field more. I think it's kind of ridiculous. The big thing for the Giants could be stopping this pass game with CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb is called out Drew Phillips. I don't know if you saw this. He called out because I guess Drew Phillips hurt him last year, which I don't exactly remember what play he's talking about, but he said he quote unquote has something for Drew Phillips this weekend. So could be another chirpy game, NFC East football. And then, yeah, I mean, I would like to see more of Dexter Lawrence too. I kind of thought it was a quiet weekend for him last week. This defense should get after Dak Prescott, but this pass game kind of scares me. Paulson Adebo will probably be on. CeeDee Lamb a lot. Pickens and Lamb could cause a lot of trouble. So the Giants defense can't get lit up for 27, 30 points to stay in this game.
I agree. And funny thing I saw about Micah McFadden, I don't know if it was like a parody account or if it was real, but it was a reporter that he looked like he had some real things on his account. I could not tell if he was being funny or not, but he said that the Giants hope to get Micah McFadden back for the playoffs. And I was like, that can't be real, right?
I think I just means that out for the season.
I know.
That's funny. That's actually really funny. Because his injury is weird because if we went from season-ending surgery to, like an IR stint and then back to kind of missing the rest of the year. So, I mean, I think he wants to play because he's on a contract year, and he is, I'm not going to call him a great player, but he's a starting caliber NFL linebacker. Yeah. So, I mean, the Cowboys running back room with Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders kind of actually had an okay game against the Eagles. So last week the Commanders were able to run the ball on the Giants. So hopefully they aren't able to run the ball on the Giants, the Cowboys. Pass rush, that's your strength. You got to get after Dak Prescott against the Cowboys, who are a pass heavy team. So yeah, I mean, I think, let me see any other X's and O's I want to mention. The CeeDee Lamb, the pass game matchup versus the Giants pass rush / pass secondary will be interesting. I think that's just the main matchup to watch for, because if Dak Prescott lights the Giants up, then just turn the game off at halftime.
I agree. I think that pass rush is going to get after him. I think.
Yeah, I mean, last week. Sorry, yeah, you keep going. Sorry.
Okay. My bad. I think you're going to see them get after him and get a lot of sacks, especially from Carter, Burns, Thibodeau. It really depends on how fast Dak's getting the ball out and how much the Giants secondary holds up. With obviously, you're facing a great receiver in CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, who still has some question marks on him, but you're not asking a secondary to do too much when you have a pass rush like that. And all they have to do is obviously CeeDee Lamb, even with the drops last week, he's the caliber of receiver that goes out there and just makes plays. So if he does go out there and make some incredible plays, you can't really fault the Giants' defense for that because it's bound to happen. He's such a great receiver. But they just got to, I don't know, play pretty good defense in the secondary and let the pass rush get after Dak.
I mean, with the way the Giants' offenses look, this defense has played, like, I don't know if they can let up more than, like, they have 21 points last week, and it felt like a blowout. Like, they didn't play bad last week at all, the defense, I would say, necessarily, but it just feels like in order for this offense to have a chance, this defense needs to create turnovers. I guess there was no Giants didn't create any turnovers last week, so maybe they could get a pick off Dak or a strip sack, give something just to make the offense's life a little easier. Get the ball on the Cowboys 25 for a drive. I mean, you got to look for Giants. Giants got to win some of these special teams plays, turnover battle, just to get a little spark in this team. That's why I'm looking for a spark. And I don't know. It's going to be I'm very intrigued to watch this matchup because I don't. This might be a weird way to think of it, but to me, I don't know if obviously I want the Giants to win, but if they get their ass kicked again, I'm just gonna go to okay. Well, at least Jackson Dart's gonna start week 3. I could get at least get excited for that. That's literally my mindset. Like if we lose 27-6, I'm like, well, at least I have Jackson Dart for the home opener against the Chiefs, and I'll have something to look forward to.
I mean, that's the only right thing to think. Like there's not there wouldn't be any other silver lining or any other hope. But even if the Giants come out, fall flat on their face and get their butts totally whooped by the Cowboys, do you think that there's no chance they stick with Wilson, or do you think that there is still some chance?
I don't know how. Like if they don't score a touchdown or they scored less than 10 points, I think look, you don't want to start Dart. At least put Winston in at that point.
I see that.
Not been talked about at all. I feel like the possibility you can just put Jameis Winston in the game instead of Jackson. If you don't feel like Jackson Dart's ready and you don't want to, you think putting him in is going to hurt his development, put Jameson. At least he'll move the ball.
Yeah, I was going to say at least there will be some playmaking qualities in your quarterback out there on the field. Even if he can get reckless at times, just something to light a spark for the team.
It's better than what it'd be like. I'm assuming this is a replay of week 1. There's no way you could go into week 3. Your home you know how bad the Giants would get booed? Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
All right. I gotta just focus. I know. I am sorry, guys. I'm not this type of person that's gonna come in and make, oh, Giants do this, this, and this. They're gonna win this game. I gotta look at this game as try to take the F word out of it, fan. And there is a way for the Giants to win this. These Cowboys team is not the Cowboys of old, but based on the history, based on this Giants team, I'm just not feeling good. So I guess we could get in. I'll give 3 keys to the game actually before I end this for getting our predictions. So I kind of mentioned before, but show some life to the Giants fans. Give them something to believe in again. I want it to be 4:00 Sunday, and there's positive energies around the Giants. I don't want the Giants to be the laugh. It's not fun going on social media and you're like a team like the Giants. Obviously, they're in New York, but there's no reason for people like to be talking about the Giants. Like, let's say the Yankees are in the spotlight. My point is, it's not fun going on social media to see getting made fun of by the entire league. Like, it's such a bad feeling. Like, I have classes this week. People know I'm a Giants fan. They go, dude, like, how? Like, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to leave the house, go to class in a Giants gear. I don't want to feel that. I want to feel proud to represent my team. That's all I'm asking for. Give me a reason to want to be a Giants fan. Of course, I'm always going to be a fan. But give me something to smile about, to look forward to. So, my next point, score the football. Just simple as that. This is a weaker Dallas defense. Be able to move the ball, score the football.
And touchdowns, not field goals.
Touchdowns, yes. Score a touchdown. The one where your player runs into the opposing team's end zone. That one. And then just the defense. Have some turnovers. I think putting the offense in good situations. Good field position, turning the ball over, not letting Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb go berserk. I think that's my overall goal for the defense. I know I'm asking for a lot out of the defense against a pretty good Cowboys offense, but in order for this team to win, I think defense really has to be the superstar of the team.
Yeah, and this team should be able to lean on their defense. Their defense is supposed to, especially that front line, is supposed to be built for that. And they're the side of the ball that has to step up and help out this team right now.
So before we move on to the Jets, we'll give our score predictions. I'll start off. I'm going 27-10 Cowboys.
Okay. I think the Giants are going to score more points than they did last week, quite a bit more points. and I think they're going to end up losing by a field goal. Give me the Cowboys 20-17. 2 touchdowns and a field goal.
So we both had the Cowboys last week. I guess so. We went. We both went 1-1 because we both picked our teams to win last week.
We both picked the other team to lose.
So this week we're both going Cowboys. This will be a fun stat to keep track of.
Yeah. We'll start writing this down so we know.
Yes. But hopefully, hey, hope I'm wrong. Hopefully I come up on Sunday or Monday whenever we record, and I am screaming my head off excited. But
I hope I'm wrong too. I started talking myself into the Giants winning this game, and then I just started looking more and more into it, and I'm like, that's just not happening.
I mean, no, we don't want non-competitive. Same thing with maybe the Jets. I would not want the Jets to be the joke of the league, non-competitive.
Mm.
In week 2, man, the season just started. I want these teams to win. I hope the Jets make the playoffs because there's more content to talk about. It's not fun shitting on these teams all the time.
Yeah. No, definitely not.
But
so
Bills Jets.
Yeah, let's get into Bills at Jets. The Bills come in at 1-0. The Jets come in at 0-1. The Bills obviously coming off of that incredible comeback at home against Baltimore, but the Bills let up a ton of points. What was it, 31 points or something like that?
40. They let up 40.
Yeah, 40 points. Okay, my bad. And obviously the Ravens jumped out to a huge lead in that game. The thing that stood out to me the most in the second half when the Bills started getting stops and started coming back was Ed Oliver on that defense, on that front four. He's out this week against the Jets. He has an ankle injury. And obviously you don't ever wish injury on anyone, but it is good for the Jets and their run game. And even if the Bills had him, I still think the Jets would run all over this week Bills defense, that weak front line and weak linebacking core. The Ravens kept running away from Ed Oliver, and it worked great in the first half, but in the second half, he was making plays while they're running away from him, just blowing up that line and going across the entire line and making tackles on Derrick Henry. So that's why I just think it's a huge piece of that Bills defense that they're going to be missing against the Jets. I think it's crazy to say this, but it's true because of who the Jets are going up against. The Jets need their offense to keep them in this game because the Bills are going to go out there, score points. The Jets can almost replicate a poor man's Ravens type offense with Justin Fields, Breece Hall, and Braylon Allen. The Bills gave up 238 rushing yards to Baltimore. So I don't see why the Jets can't do something similar to that. And obviously I don't want this to get construed as I'm calling the Jets offense the Ravens offense, because I'm not. It's just how you can replicate it. The Bills can't stop the run, and the Jets are a running team. So I think that they could put those guys in position. And the Jets' offensive line was incredible last week, and they can continue that. And they did that against the Steelers. The Steelers have probably the best D-line in the whole NFL when you break it all down. So I think that they could run all over this Bills defense.
Yeah, so when it was Sunday night at about 10:45, I was worried about this game for the Jets because I'm thinking, oh God, the Bills are about to lose this game. You're going to get pissed off Bills for next week. But obviously, which I think had more to do with the Ravens choking. Obviously, the Bills made some great plays. Bills end up winning that game. I'm like, oh, this is good because the Bills, they were obviously some really bad play by their defense. They honestly didn't play great football for about 3 1/4 of quarters. And so I'm thinking, all right, when a team has a crazy win like that, obviously you're going to work on the mistakes you had. They played a great team in the Ravens. Just it was an awesome game. But there definitely were flaws that you saw there in that game from their defense. But those flaws and the mistakes you made, it gets a little bit forgotten when you get a win like that. So they're not pissed off. They're not like, off. We're 0-1. They're coming in 1-0 against the Jets team, and I'm sure they're still thinking, oh, this is the Jets. We'll do our thing. We'll come out, show up, and beat them. I kind of like that because there's not a bit of a chip on the shoulder for the Bills, and you're not getting a pissed off Josh Allen. And I think the Jets do have a bit of a chip on the shoulder right now. They're like, let's build them. No one wants to start off 0-2. It's kind of, I think it's about a 12% chance to make the playoffs if you're 0-2 statistically. So I kind of, for a Bills Jets matchup, I like where the Jets are coming in this game. They looked great last week, and I think they can build upon the momentum against a Bills defense that is very flawed.
I agree. And, when they establish the running game, it opens up the play action passes. It opens up Garrett Wilson. Josh Reynolds was limited in practice today, I believe. I believe it was a hamstring injury. So he, as it stands right now, is kind of the Jets' number 2 receiver. There wasn't really any positives in the Jets receiving game last week besides Garrett Wilson. Mason Taylor had a nice play, and I expect him to play a sizable role as a receiving tight end in this Jets offense for this year. But I think it's just going to be more of the same from last week. The Jets feeding their playmakers, feeding Breece Hall, feeding Garrett Wilson, and letting Justin Fields go out there and them actually trusting in him to make plays. The one thing I will say is, as great as Justin Fields was last week, I want him to almost look more for, I mean, obviously one of his knocks has always been that when the play breaks down, the pocket breaks down, and he's going to escape, he's not looking downfield to make a play. I loved how he did that last week, how he was looking downfield, kept his eyes downfield, and threw the ball. But I thought there were a couple times, obviously the Garrett Wilson play at the end where Garrett Wilson dropped it after the big hit by Ramsey was a good example of this. I thought there were a couple times where he could have taken off and ran. There was one pass, I think it was to Tyler Johnson, where he got out, threw a bullet to him. The receiver or the guy in the secondary was late coming there to make a play. But I also feel like some of those are plays where guys can jump them and make plays. I mean, we saw Ramsey make the play on Wilson, but the Steelers, the play on for Tyler Johnson, I thought it was half a second away from being a pick. I want Fields to trust his legs a little bit more once the play breaks down and not look to throw at everything. But I also don't want him to get too far away from the strides he made in looking downfield in the passing game, if that makes sense. I know I'm going off on a bit of a tangent there, but yeah, I don't know.
So, yeah, I kind of want to talk about the Jets defense versus Josh Allen and the Bills offense. Obviously, that's the main stopping point with the Bills.
Mhm.
And in the past, last year was its own thing, but 2023 they beat him that week 1. And if I'm not mistaken, 2022 they beat the Bills. I believe they did. I don't remember. Was that in Buffalo or
that was in New York in 2022. It was
and then 2023 was obviously in New York too.
Yes.
So they've kind of played him well at home, at least. And I think last year's game was actually pretty competitive. I remember
it was.
Didn't Rodgers have a Hail Mary at halftime? Hail Mary at halftime.
It was that game. And also we were like 2 Greg Zuerlein missed field goals away from that game. Yes. Tyler Bass also missed a field goal in that game, so I will note that. But it did feel like with Rodgers, and there were a bunch of games, I think I talked about this last week, like the difference between Rodgers and the Jets being like 7-3 at one point and 3-7 or whatever their record was a bunch of missed kicks. And, for Rodgers having Boswell as his kicker now in Pittsburgh, we saw the opposite of that last week where you put your team in position and your kicker can go out there and win games for you.
Yeah, but anyways, so the Jets have kind of had a bit of Allen's numbers for Josh Allen standards, and I wonder if they could, make Josh Allen feel like he has to be Superman, and that's why I feel like you see the worst of Josh Allen when he's making these crazy throws that are interceptions or just unnecessary plays and not just taking the smart decision, throwing it away, or not lowering your shoulder and going out of bounds. So I wonder if the Jets can make him feel uncomfortable, because in the past I feel like they have.
Yeah, I want to note in the 2022 game when they beat Josh Allen at home, he had 2 interceptions, and the 2023 game when they beat Josh Allen at home, the Xavier Gibson punt return for a touchdown, he had 3 interceptions. So when the Jets defense gets after him and he feels like he has to be a playmaker out there, he does throw a lot of picks. But I will also say he's a different version of
Yeah.
himself since then. Coming into last year, he was voted as the most overrated player in I think it was Sports Illustrated or something, and I feel like some of that was because of the things he put on himself going out there trying to make plays, but he didn't change in the fact that he went out there and stopped trying to make plays. He went out there and made smart plays last
Yeah.
year, and that's why he is this Superman MVP
Yeah.
quarterback that wills his team to victories.
Mhm.
So I it when things don't go well for him, he can start to press and make bigger problems, but he also can go out there and win you a game.
Of course, yeah. I mean, he's a
So,
great player, but the Jets seem to have a way to slow him down because I mean, you look at these games; they're not too high scoring for the Bills. Last year, I think I remember that later game of the year they murdered the Jets
yes,
in
they
Buffalo,
completely killed
but
them.
different Jets team, vibes are definitely different. Aaron
Mhm.
Glenn, so I wonder how Aaron Glenn could maybe maintain him.
Yeah, and another thing, so Sauce Gardner injured his groin yesterday in practice. He was limited yesterday, and he did not practice today, but Glenn believes that he will be playing on Sunday, which is a good sign. And uh I mean, obviously last week against Rodgers, that secondary got torched. In week 1, Josh Allen versus the Ravens, when he was playing against zone coverage, he had a 93.4 passing grade, and versus man, his passing grade was only 52. The Jets play a lot of man coverage. They dial up these elaborate blitzes, sending different linebackers, corners, safeties, whatever, and they play a lot of man coverage. So I think that's something to look out for because obviously the what I'm taking away from these stats is when you put Josh Allen against zone coverage, he has to make the right play. There's a read in the defense that he has to read and make. But when you're playing against man, he sees guys one on one and says, I could fit this throw in, I can make this play, or I could put this ball in a position where my guy can go make this play, where it's not as like clear cut as where the right throw is, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I thought I remember this. I was correct. The Bills and Lions played last year where obviously Aaron Glenn was the defensive coordinator
Yes.
and the Bills scored 48 points.
Yeah, yeah.
So obviously in the when Glenn played him last year at DC, Allen had his number. So he can maybe learn upon that game. Obviously, of course, different team. So it's a little
Mhm.
different. But he can learn upon the mistakes maybe made against Allen last year and find ways to maintain him this year. And I think the Jets defense has a bit of a chip on the shoulder because, in a way, they kind of lost them the game last week.
Mhm.
When the offense plays that good, that's frustrating to lose a game like that. So hopefully the defense could come out and, maybe carry the offense a little bit, maybe hold Josh Allen to 20 points and a few turnovers.
Yeah. And different from last week, I expect the Jets to get some turnovers this week. Rodgers does not turn the ball over, but
Mhm.
Josh Allen does. Uh, just looking at history, so I expect uh, Allen to have more turnovers than Rodgers did last week, and I do expect this Jets defense to get after him. I feel like they might deploy a spy, but even without a spy, when the Jets have this great video that circulated after Jermaine Johnson, his rookie year, he got a sack on Josh Allen. He ran him down
Mhm.
right by the sideline, sacked him. And there was a video from the draft when the Jets drafted Jermaine Johnson. And one of the things that the guy in the draft room, one of the scouts in the draft room said was, "This is a guy that can chase down Josh Allen." And he did that. He has
Mhm.
a speed to chase him down. Will McDonald is I think more athletic than Jermaine Johnson. They have these two great rushing ends that can chase Josh Allen down. get after him. They have other guys that can get after him in a bunch of different ways. Quincy Williams, I believe, will be more of a spy, but they'll send him in situations, and he's a dog. He'll get after Josh Allen. I like how this front line and linebackers get after him. I mean, obviously the linebackers have to be better in coverage, but I like the mentality of the Jets defense. They see the ball and they go and hit the guy. I don't know.
Yeah. Let's see. So, how do you think the Jets would respond in a possible shootout once again?
Yes. So that's where I believe this will end up being kind of like a shootout, and I don't think not that it'll be a shootout. I think the Jets are going to end up falling a touchdown or two, and it's not going to be a shootout because I don't think the Jets will respond well. Last week was like a perfect game for them, and I just don't see them replicating that.
Mm-hmm. The defense has to step up to me.
Yeah, the defense has to step up.
Do that again.
And we've talked about how this Jets team is built to play with the lead and play in control of the game, and we don't know how they'll respond when they go down. And we saw it last week where they went down, they responded with a touchdown, but then they went down again and they could not finish the game. Like they could not have a last 2-minute drive touchdown to go out there and win the game. And I think that's going to be the same because once you get into a situation like that, the offense is so one-dimensional where you're really only looking for Garrett Wilson. There's not another guy that you're looking for in the passing attack.
Yeah, that's true. I definitely think this is more of a game where you get the lead and kind of maintain it. But I think this game's gonna be a lot on the defense because, like we keep saying, the offense, to expect them to put up 30 ball again is asking for a lot, and it might be unrealistic.
Yeah, and for this Jets O-line, this is not as hard of a task as last week was, and I want to give some flowers to Armand Membu for last week. Going up against TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith, he had 26 pass blocking situations and he allowed 0 pressures. So I believe I saw that he was the highest graded tackle out of the whole NFL last week. So like that's just incredible going up against one of the best pass rushers ever, and to have a game like that. So I think this Jets D line will withstand and hold up. That's why I think this run game is going to be so great this week. But it's just that it really all falls on the defense, which is surprising. That imagine us sitting here last week and saying, well, this is going to come down to how the Jets defense plays because we don't have as many worries about the Jets offense right now.
I know NFL life moves fast, man. One game can change the whole view. But I'm viewing the Jets as an offensive team, especially against a defense just getting 40 points against the Bills. They're definitely capable of scoring the ball.
Yeah. I want to see how Tanner Engstrand calls the game this week, just because I feel like one of the knocks I would give the offense is they came out and they punched the Bills in the throat. They punched the Steelers in the throat. They really set the tone of the game. But I think Tanner Engstrand in those like scripted moments, first drive out of the half, those where like you really have a set 5, 6, 7, 10 plays that you're going to call in those situations. I think the Jets did great at that, but I feel like their offense almost got complacent a little bit.
Panicky type stuff when it doesn't go to plan.
Yeah, and then that's where maybe it fell apart. So like I think that just stick to, or I want to see how he responds when it's not as much of a scripted moment, scripted play call, and like what you're gonna
I like that because it's his first game as an OC, so I mean, of course, he did a great job, but that's kind of the stuff you can't practice in a way because that's just stuff that comes up during the game. And of course, you
Exactly.
have preseason training camp, but once you're in the real thing, it's different. So I think that would grow as time goes on in the year.
That was probably the best Jets offense I've seen since Ryan
Yeah,
Fitzpatrick.
definitely.
And I don't know, with Jets offensive coordinators in the past, Mike LaFleur comes to mind. The guy from the Aaron Rodgers guy, I can't think of his name.
Oh, Nathaniel Hackett.
Hackett comes to mind.
Yeah.
They ran offenses almost like how I do when I'm playing Madden, where
Uh-huh.
I run the ball in the first play. It doesn't work. Okay, let's try again. Doesn't work. Okay, it's 3rd and 12. So let's
Yeah.
just throw it deep. Like
Yeah.
that type of offense isn't going to
Of
win
course
you
not.
games. Or maybe it wasn't that quite scripted like that, but it's like let's just try this. It didn't seem like there was an identity
Yeah,
to the offense.
that's fair.
So, yeah.
So should we get into your 3 keys of the game, then we'll get into our final predictions?
Yes. So key number 1 is Jets rushing attack. We got the 3-headed monster: Fields, Breece Hall, Braylon Allen. Not in that order. I would put Breece 1, Fields 2, Braylon Allen 3. But I want to see how these guys come out and run the ball and see how this offensive line handles this hindered Bills defensive line. And I want to see Allen get more touches and get more opportunity to go out there and go out there and hold on or handle the football, because we heard so much about him all summer long, and he was a little bit disappointing last week from the things people were saying that he's going to come in and take over this running back role. And if people genuinely believe that, then and they genuinely believe he's better than Breece Hall, I mean, I hope so, because that would be incredible.
Yeah, I mean, that would be an insane dude.
I'm not buying that.
Yeah.
I'm not buying that one bit. Breece Hall showed everyone why he belongs as a Jets running back. He proved everyone who doubted him wrong. So I'm just looking for the Jets to establish their identity once again this week and control the line of scrimmage, control the time of possession, give their defense some rest, and sustain good drives. My second one is the Jets defense. Obviously, I expect the pass rushers to get after Josh Allen, but what I'm looking for is the rest of the Jets defense, their linebackers and secondary, how they can hold up against the Bills receivers and tight ends. The Bills got 2 really good tight ends, and Keon Coleman is almost like a breakout candidate as a wide receiver this year. So I want to see how they handle him. I want to see how Brandon Stevens steps up after all the criticism from week 1. I mean, a lot of people are calling for the Jets to bench him in favor of Stiggers or one of the rookies, but I don't think the Jets are anywhere near doing that yet, just because you gave Brandon Stevens pretty big contract this offseason, and obviously they believed in something from him. So I like for him to bounce back. And my last one, we touched on this briefly before, is how the Jets are going to respond in a shootout, because I believe the Bills are going to come out and put up a lot of points. And I just don't think the Jets will be able to keep up with that.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, the Bills are one of the best teams in football, so I think just getting my prediction, I think it's be tough. Like, this is kind of a tough draw for the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a tough first 2 games. Even a tough first 3 games. They got Tampa next week, but the schedule does lighten up eventually.
Yes.
They play, the AFC East teams, Dolphins and Patriots are pretty bad. And they got the Panthers later on, the Jaguars. Definitely some lighter games, but overall, if I'm going to get my prediction, I think the Bills are going to win this game 33-21.
Okay, I got 35-24 Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a tough matchup for the Jets, but I think it's you won't feel too down about this team after an 0-2 start compared to the Giants.
Yeah, but also, I mean, the stats on playoff hopes after
of course.
0-2 start. 0-2 start, and also it'll be an 0-2 start looking like an 0-3 start next week against
in
Tampa.
Tampa. So
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see. But I mean, I think in Tampa is definitely more winnable game, but that's just a tough draw, man. I mean, you got first the Steelers, I think are going to be a lot better than people think. Like I think
Mhm.
Steelers are going to be a playoff team, and then the Bills, obviously, and then Tampa has won the NFC South for like the last 4 years. It feels like.
We got a
So
comment. We got a comment on the Instagram. Bubba Sosdy says 35-10. I assume he means Buffalo is the team with
yeah,
35.
yeah. Wow, he
So,
thinks it won't even be close. I mean, the Bills are really good.
they are a very good team.
So we'll get into our mailbag before we end this episode. First question: is the Jets' offense good?
I mean, just go based off what we saw last week, I would say yes, obviously. They really established that identity with their run attack. Fields impressed and surprised a lot of people with how he threw the ball. So I think it's hard to sit back and say anything other than yes, they're a good offense, but we'll see how they sustain this. We'll see if this was a flash in the pan, or if this is something that they'll keep up. Obviously, we got a lot of talent with that line. That line was incredible, and I mentioned the stat about Menbu where he allowed 0 pressures on pass rushes this past week. So I think there's a lot of positives to look at from the Jets, and there's a lot of uh like cornerstones. Like we have a lot of like a good core. We have a good core of a lot of we have a good core of players on this team,
Uh,
is what I would say.
so yeah, of course, based on last week, we're gonna call it good. But before, I think you call the Jets a good offense, which is like top 10. I think we got to see a much bigger sample size. Of course,
Yeah.
yeah. So moving on to the next question. Given that Volpe has been dealing with a shoulder injury, when he's healthy, should he get another chance at the everyday shortstop?
So I mean, I feel like that's all relative to when he's healthy.
I don't know if he's been healthy
Obviously,
all year, honestly. Like
yeah, like
fully.
I mean, I just don't know if I feel like if another team's interested in him this offseason, the Yankees might just cut their
I actually
losses.
think he might be moved, honestly. But for this year, I think Caballero is going to be the shortstop, and you could kind of use his injury as an excuse. But I don't think the Yankees can't put him on the IL because they don't have another shortstop. Like you need 2 shortstops in the MLB playoffs. So the Yankees can't he'll be on the bench, but you know what I'm saying? Like, they can't put him in the IL. Like I don't think they have they're not bringing George Lombard Jr. up. I don't expect that to happen
No, yeah,
for
definitely
the
not.
playoff roster. So I mean that would just not be smart. And you need 2 shortstops, so he might just have to play through this to be a bench player for the playoffs.
It's definitely something. It's definitely an interesting question because we remember when he hurt his shoulder back in May, but I guess it's been something kind of lingering, or he
It's been there
re-aggravated it
for like
the
2
other day.
months, they said. Like it's been
Yeah.
bothering. Which I mean that
So,
makes sense why he's not hit. Like I mean he's kind of always been bad, so I'm not going to blame it on that. But
hmm.
I mean
He's
it
always
makes
been bad, but he's never been this bad.
it's
In his
bad.
last like 30, what?
Yeah, you're right. He's never been this bad.
In his last like 30 games, he's batting like 144 or something, which I saw the Yes Network put that on the screen the other day, and I literally couldn't believe it. Like
He's one of the worst players in baseball. I mean, he is the
it's
worst. Not even
yeah,
one of them. He's been the worst player in baseball. I don't. It's crazy how they're playing him. They're starting not to. I mean, Caballero's played the last 2 games. They haven't put Volpe in the IL yet. We'll see. Lineup. Actually, I'm gonna check real quick. It actually might be out right now. It's 4:00. But let's see. No lineup yet. But I wonder if he's gonna start today. Be very interesting. Big series against the Red Sox. I kind of don't think he will start, especially if they're bringing in that shoulder excuse. Last year, remember they didn't cut DJ; they put him on the IL.
yeah.
So obviously different, it's a little bit different, but kind of reminds me of that. They kind of bring up these excuses, and this is going to be the excuse to why he's not the starting shortstop for the rest of the year because they don't want to put it on the media. If I had to guess.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I didn't really think about it much like that, but I could see that so that then next year they can give him another chance. And it's
Yep.
when people criticize that they're giving him another chance, they'll be like, well, he was always the guy. He was just hurt.
Yep, that's exactly what it'll be. But I feel like they might just have him off the bench, though. Like they're not gonna put him in the IL because I don't. They don't have they don't have a shortstop, and they're not bringing up Lombard. That's ridiculous. Like you're not bringing up a 20-year-old kid for the playoffs to potentially get in the game. So he might just have to play through an injury to be a bench player.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, keep going.
My bad. Next question. When do the Giants let Dart start?
So I think it's next week. I think we're headed toward another bad performance from Russell Wilson, and you're gonna see an impulsive head coach make a decision where he's like, I need to save my job, and who gives a shit about the wins or losses at this point? If this guy looks good, I will be the coach next year.
And if this guy looks good, I'll win some games, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, it can't get worse. That's gonna be the mindset.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. The only point I could have to that is that they might not want to put him behind that O-line and essentially ruin him almost, maybe.
Oh, unfortunately, if you're Brian Dable, if you don't show, like, I won't be here. Like, that's literally your mindset.
Yeah.
It's like I'll be here at that point. And then, we got one more question?
Yeah, we got a question about Malcolm Brogdon. It's what do you think about the Knicks signing Malcolm Brogdon?
Yeah, so I like this. Get a little basketball question. Brogdon just signed recently. He was Sixth Man of the Year winner with Boston back in 2023. His career has definitely fallen off a lot since then. Still a capable offensive player, but to deal with injuries. He was recently on the Wizards. I think he'll just take over that campaign spot. He's never going to play on the court with Brunson. He'll give you 15 minutes a game. That's give or take. And, it's a good bench scoring piece. I'm not sure if that's a player you trust in the playoffs. Typically, these guys that go unsigned, I don't even think his contract's guaranteed, if I'm not mistaken. I think he signed a non-guaranteed training camp. When it's September and these guys are signing deals, I know Malcolm Brogdon's a name at this point to get signed, but they probably aren't able to play in the playoffs anymore. He'll be a regular season backup. That's for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a perfectly good sign, and they need someone.
Why not? Why not?
Who can handle the ball, because when Brunson's not on the court, I know there were some rumblings about them trying to sign Ben Simmons and him saying no.
Them, apparently.
Which that's honestly a blessing for the Knicks. I just don't know why, as a Nets fan, I don't know why you are even entertaining the idea of signing Ben Simmons. He's just a cancer.
It's not even worth a veteran bit of him signing. I agree.
It's not.
There's no point. He's not going to play. He's not healthy ever. He won't shoot the ball. Like, he's athletic and big and can guard, but that's it.
And can handle the ball, but he's not producing offense for you.
Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, but the Knicks kind of have to hit on some of these veteran minimum deals, though, because, as you saw, the lack of depth last year hurt them.
Yeah. So
maybe Brogdon is a major hit, and he's able to revert back a little bit to his last time he was kind of good was the Celtics, which is now 3 years ago. So I don't know how much is left of him, but maybe he was on the Wizards recently, so he may be on a competitive team that brings something out of a veteran that you haven't seen when they're on bad teams.
And again, we do have some people on our Instagram live, and I want to encourage you guys to go over to our YouTube. It's a better experience, and when you go over there, subscribe, comment on the video. We can interact with you right through the chat here and put your comments up on the screen. So, that was our last mailbag episode. We can get into some Yankees and Mets talk.
Yeah, we could quickly talk about them. I mean, the Mets are really falling apart. The Mets season is just at this point about 2.5 weeks left. Actually, 16 days until the regular season ends. The Mets are. I'm going to still fan because they are a basketball team that was up 25 at halftime and are holding on for dear life to win this game for them getting in the playoffs. They are now. Yes. What are they? Game and a half up on the Reds now?
I believe a game and a half up on the
Reds or Giants?
Giants.
The Reds have the tiebreaker, but I think they're both the same. But the Reds
Yeah,
have the tiebreaker, the Giants don't. And so, I mean, look, the Mets. I think it's looking dangerous. I don't know if this team's going to make the playoffs. They look
they're a game and a half up on
horrible.
both those teams.
Yeah, and I think it's likely at this point they don't make the playoffs. I think the Reds are getting over them. I see the Red schedule; it's weaker, and if you really, really look, their last series is against the Brewers, who likely won't be playing for anything. So you'll have Double-A guys playing that series.
Yeah, which is insane,
Bad for the Mets.
honestly.
Yeah,
And I mean, I see it too. As we get a comment, hey, Big Apple.
not Luke Skaggs.
Luke Skaggs. It is insane how when the Mets seem to not have expectations, they play incredibly. But coming into this year, all the pressure's on them, all the expectations are on them. They signed Juan Soto, they're paying all these guys, and they're just horrible. Like
Yeah.
you watch them, especially the last couple weeks since them sweeping the Phillies, and especially the last few days, they just don't look like they
No,
can play baseball.
they don't care. I mean, I think it's that simple. And I think Juan Soto, like I think he's a great player. And in baseball, you could kind of get away with this stuff because you can't hurt a team by like playing well. It's not like basketball where you're ball hogging the ball, or football where you'll take sacks or your complete percentage, something like that. But I think Juan Soto is the type of player, and I think you can just look back at his history. He wants to win, sure, but I think he's the type of guy where losing doesn't bother him as much as, let's say, an Aaron Judge or a Mookie Betts or a Shohei Ohtani. I think if Juan Soto loses and he sees, hey, I had a home run, I went 2 for 4, 3 RBIs, he's fine. He can sleep and it doesn't bother him at all. I think that's a fair testament to him.
Yeah. And for Juan Soto at this point in his career, he's won a World Series.
Yes.
He got his big payday, the highest annual value contract in MLB history. He's like, what more do I have to do?
Yeah,
and that's genuinely how he feels.
I mean, if he's all about the money, then sure. Why isn't it all about the stats? It makes sense. I mean, this is a whole thing, but it's not like he chose the Mets for their family culture, winning culture. He went there for the money. He would have went to the Oakland A's if it was for the money, or Vegas A's, whatever.
Yeah.
The point is, I don't think he cares that much. I think a lot of those guys don't care. I think you need a lot of new players in there. There's gonna be some very, very tough conversations October, and maybe even getting rid of some fan favorites.
Yeah, and I think for a guy like Juan Soto, the franchise you're on matters, and I feel like you can see this across all sports. It doesn't matter how good you are if you play for franchises like that don't care. Like that culture is.
Steve Cohen cares. He
cares, but
it's not everything.
But it's.
I get what you're saying the history, but Steve Cohen's trying to. This is why I blame the players, man. I don't blame them. Or the Mets have done. Starn, sure, you can maybe blame, but Steve Cohen's done everything possible for these players. They probably get catered more than any other MLB team. They probably have the best food, the best locker room facilities. This is on the players. The players had a fairy tale run last year, and they have this ego where I truly think they all think they can just turn it on. They're gonna limp it into the playoffs and turn it on, and they don't. It seems like there's no heart there anymore. And all these guys, I think there's only so much the owner and organization do. It's on the players to me.
Yeah, and maybe like saying that the organization doesn't care was a bit of a miss or a bit of a bad word to use. It's just like the culture of an organization where I feel, and when I say this goes across all sports, like badly run organizations
stay bad,
have outcomes like this. Like Aaron Rodgers went to the Jets, and I mean, most people could have called that wouldn't work because they see how the Jets are, they see how the Jets operate, and they see that they're a poorly run team. Where Juan Soto and now Aaron Rodgers goes to the Steelers, and I feel like this is going to work not because of Aaron Rodgers and not because of Mike Tomlin, but because of the Steelers brand, that culture that they've built over the last however many years. I mean, we saw it with Katie and Kyrie when they went to the Nets. When you go to these dysfunctional organizations, it doesn't pan out well for you.
I get what you're saying, but I like can't blame Steve Cohen for this. Like,
Yes.
sure, if you
Yeah.
want to blame David Stearns for not investing in long-term pitching, really, all the veterans are terrible now. The only sparks is the young guys. And I think a lot of the veterans are just not the right piece at this point. I think there's definitely some team chemistry vibes that just aren't there for the Mets. But I mean, there's no reason for this in the new expanded playoffs. 6 teams in each the AL and NL make the playoffs. There's no reason for the Mets not to make the playoffs. They have a $340 million payroll, way above any other team besides the Dodgers, who they're $7 million behind. If they don't make the playoffs, this is one of the more embarrassing seasons in New York sports history. After signing Juan Soto, after shoving your chest in the Yankees' face, you don't even make the playoffs after being a first-place team 70 games in. They've been one of the worst. They're worse than the White Sox in like the last 75 games.
I saw that. I heard that on WFAN today. It's insane to me. But also I feel like some of this could have been predicted from the beginning of the year. There were people saying, "Oh, all this for a team that won't make the playoffs," and people were like, "What? Are you crazy? You see who they have?"
But we saw it go well.
We did see it go well.
They were the first place in the National League.
Yeah,
it's not they've been bad over here. This is just an epic choke job.
They had all the questions with their pitching staff and things like that.
And it's the veterans all suck.
Yeah.
Sangla, Manaea, Holmes, I guess, been the better one, but he's not. Frankie Montas, miss. The young guys like Nolan McLean have been nice. They've been stepping up, but their bullpen, I mean, is horrible. Ryan Helsley is unpitchable. They find new ways to lose games. And I don't think these guys care that much. I really don't think it bothers them like it bothers other guys. I think Juan Soto is a prime example. I think a perfect example of this. I didn't think about the stat padding and selfish thing. When the Mets were on fire, he was not good, and he looked miserable. He didn't care they were winning. He was upset he wasn't playing well.
And now the Mets look bad, but it's not.
He's playing great. He's fine. He's going home, getting his paychecks, getting his private jet from Steve Cohen. I'm fine. I get a free vacation. I already won a World Series. Right. You know, give me a few MVPs. He wants to be talked about with the Bonzes, the Griffeys when he's done his career. In a sport like baseball, it's not ring counting unless you're on the Yankees, which this is a whole theory. But that's a whole theory. But
that's the only place where rings matter.
Yes, really, it really is. Like, when you look at legacies of baseball,
because when you look at players, and even for guys, I feel like the ring counting is more recent especially when you look at Yankees players with rings, and I guess all time, because there are a lot of Yankees who have won a lot of rings, but there's no other player than Yankee players where you say, "Oh, this was a great guy," and people say why. When you do that with other players, you point out their stats. When you do that with Yankee players, besides like Babe Ruth, because Babe Ruth has the home run numbers, you point out their rings.
Yes. I mean, the whole thing with Judge is he's just missing a ring. That's like the whole thing. And you know what? Like, maybe, I don't know. I think it's just interesting that this is happening to the Mets. I think there's some lacking leadership for there. I know a lot of fans are fed up with Lindor. He's been awful. I wonder if you see, just rip the Band-Aid off. You don't have the drama with Alonso. Maybe this is just, you got to get new guys in there. You got to get some youth. They're an older team, mainly. They have some young pitching, but they're kind of old, their team. And I think you need some youth in there.
I agree. And I feel like a lot of fans, a lot of Mets fans, from what I've been hearing, don't like the fact that they have these young pitchers up, but
they're their best pitchers.
They're their best pitchers, and they're what's going to give them the chance to win. And I feel like they're saying that they don't want these guys up in the postseason because they don't think
who else
these are guys But who else? Yeah, who else?
There may not be a playoffs. It's funny.
Yeah.
There literally may not, like, there's no, if this team, oh my God, Steve Cohen's got to be losing his mind. He's got to be losing his freaking mind. I mean, it's embarrassing. It's a joke.
It is. It's really bad.
It's just bad baseball all around, and it's disgusting to watch. It's unwatchable.
Yeah, I mean, obviously
Reds,
we watch more Yankees than Mets, but trying to watch some Mets games is
it's just bad baseball, and
hard because you see them fall apart so quickly.
And it's been like, like the Yankees were horrible for a stretch. They regrouped. They're gonna make the playoffs. Are the Yankees a perfect team? No, not at all. The Mets have been bad. Just this is who they are at this point. They've been so bad for like 80 games. There's been no turning it around. They were up. They're 11 games behind that division now. They were running that division for the first 70 games of the year. And now look at this. It's just pathetic. And it's really going to – if they don't – I'm telling you, if they don't make the playoffs, it's going to be – I wonder if Mendoza's job's on the line. I don't know. It's going to be a rough offseason if they don't end up making the playoffs.
I agree. And, yeah, they would have to make fundamental changes to the organization just because you don't spend that kind of money in the offseason and then come out, lay an egg like that, and not make insane changes.
Oh, of course. I mean, there would be a lot of. I think you would see some fan favorites leave the building. This is off-season talk, so there's maybe they turn around. I don't know. I don't think so.
Hopefully, yeah.
I think they could maybe make the wild card. Sure. If I had to guess, so I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs. But if they could make a wild card, they're not going anywhere though. This team's not doing anything. I'm sorry.
They're trending away from making the playoffs. I will say.
There's no reason for to believe in this team. They've given nothing for anybody to believe in. It's not like last year they got hot and were climbing upwards to make the playoffs. This year they were here. It's just, and then the Reds aren't a good team, dude. There's no way the Reds should be in the playoffs over them.
It's crazy.
I don't know. I mean, I get pissed off for the Mets fans because it's disgraceful. I mean, you have owners that are willing to spend it. They're doing everything they can, and this is the part of piss off. It's just on the players at the end of the day. But we've been going at this for a while, so I don't know if anything else you want to mention.
No, I feel like we've covered.
I don't really have too much new to say about the Yankees. Obviously, they got big upcoming series. We mentioned the Volpe part. A little disappointed the Tiger series, but I don't know. The division's they kind of need to make up some room like now, or else it kind of might just be over the division.
Yeah. I'm starting to believe the division's over. Obviously,
I won't go that far.
I think we'll hang on to that first wild card spot, which I'm a little disappointed that we're not going to win the division.
Hey,
but if you look at
let me see this weekend before I make that. I think there's still 16 games left, 4-game deficit, pretty much. You don't think that?
Because we don't 3 back. They hold the tiebreaker. Yeah. It's possible. I feel like every time we get very close, then we lose 2 games in it.
Yeah, I mean we'll see. Hopefully they gotta kind of go like 12-4 or like 11-5 at least.
And Toronto starts a series against Baltimore,
who's actually been kind of hot. We have Baltimore 7 more times though, so we gotta beat them. We gotta hope they beat the Blue Jays. And we gotta beat up on them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's it. Do you have anything else to mention?
No, we covered everything.
All right, guys. Thank you. We'll talk probably Monday because I'm going to be traveling Sunday after the game. So we'll see you guys Monday morning.
Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Check us out on all of our socials. And, yeah, see you guys Monday.